This video is the creation of and use of user-defined functions. So you use functions, and you have used functions all the time in MatLab. For instance, you've used sqrt, input an argument, and sqrt being a magic word for square root, and you put in an argument and you've seen the return. You use length with an argument frequently. So there's many in MatLab, and as a reminder, the MatLab functions or the MatLab magic words are all lowercase. So what we're going to do is create our own magic words. Here's how you create it. You come up and you say new and then function, new function. And once you're in it, you have a magic word function, and it ends with an end. So that's the basic setup. When you create a function, you then start with a variable in square brackets, and this is your output variable. And then it equals, and you name your own function. So function simple, I just made up that name. A very important point is this name that you have here must be the same as, oops, I can't do it, must be the same as your file name. Okay? This name has to be the same as your file name. So when you're saving it, you have to make that so. And then this parentheses is the input argument or arguments. So function square bracket output equals the name of your function parentheses input or inputs. And then you come down one line, and so you took in the argument A and you manipulated it such that you came with the output B. So keep in mind, please, the variable names I used were A and B. Now, to run the function, you create a script file like you always do, and this is how we'd use it. And again, it's just like any other function that you've used in MatLab before. So we have to have the input variables determined up here somehow, and it could be through a series of calculations, or as simple as assigning the value. So I assigned y to equal 2, and then I said a new variable is equal to function with the input being 2. And notice that these input and output variables are named different than your function variables. Again, your function variables are A and B. In your script file, instead of A and B, I made them Y and Z. So this is all there is to it. If you run this, well, here, just to be clear, all we're doing is clearing, and then we come down and we just run these two lines. So let me run it, and it's 6. B equals 6 over here. And if I change this to whatever, it's 56. So this is a single input, single output function. This can get, it's very simple, it's very few lines, but it can get confusing as you make them. So you want to practice making these. Okay, I'll go to the second one just to illustrate. This is a function that takes in 2 arguments and outputs once. So here's the function, the magic word function, hard bracket, my output variable, hard bracket, you could have multiple output variables here, equals, this is now a magic word, and it's all lowercase, and it's one I made up, and it's function toIn. So function toIn is the magic word, and the two input arguments are A and B. Now we're going to calculate C, which is the output, as A times B. So let's go back to our script file and uncomment it. So we know we need two input variables. We have to define them before we get to the function, of course, just like you normally do. And I'm going to say x is 20 and y equals 8. Again, as a reminder, back in the function file itself, I used a's and b's. Here you can use different names, x and y, and just like you used other functions, this is it. We run it, and it's 160. So what's happening back here is you told the function that it would have one output. No, I'm sorry, I'm at the wrong one. You told the function that you would have one output and two inputs. So what this function file is doing is it's just reserving these two places for the input, and then it's doing the math. But once it gets here, it says, okay, I'm waiting for two things within these parentheses, and you supply it two things. It doesn't matter what the how you named the variables back in this script file. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Thank you.